Hope this is not troubling you at 8 o'clock.
No problem at all. In fact, our work starts at about 7:30, so we are
Okay.
used to this schedule.
We also have the same kind of, it's VIT is like more like an IT. The 88 we operate, and being senior executive, we are expected to operate all the time. So my office is basically my mobile.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so I was handling the learning resource requirements of all the 4 campuses. So basically, I did a lot of customization related aspects in. We are talking about a library which is around 250,000 physical books, around 350,000 ebooks, and then we have around 17,000 plus e-journals.
Oh,
So initially it started with Vellore campus. When they have made me as a director, it was only for the Vellore. But then I made a presentation that, okay, why can't we make it as a campus-wide, all the campuses? At the end of the day, we require all these resources in a common basis. So that's how we made it. And today all the 4 campuses run on the same platform. And we have also gone with the industry trend of going with open source. So from Lipsys, which is the industry standard software for the library operations, we moved on to Koha, which is an open source product. So we built that with the help of a consultant, and now we are totally into that. And it's an end-to-end human involvement is zero in the whole process. And across the world, people can access all our resources. That's how I made the. So during my tenure as a director, I did that. So we moved everything into cloud. So I teach IT, so I implemented all that what I did doing the course. So Jeffrey is also working on the same, something similar to that on the knowledge management area.
Oh, nice.
So most of my PhD scholars are industry senior executives. And I'm in VIT for the last 27 years.
Oh,
so altogether 32 years of experience across the globe.
Okay.
So I taught in US, Europe, a couple of fellowships from the US, and I was in Germany as a visiting professor in Cologne, University of Cologne.
Got it. Nice to know that.
This is about brief about me, and both my kids graduated yesterday from VIT.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So my eldest son got placed into Philips in a data science area. My younger son is into Amazon. This guy graduated in ECE. The elder one finished his 5 years integrated MTech.
Okay.
So both
Nice.
graduated yesterday, and both got placed in Bangalore. So they'll be moving very soon there. Right now they are in the work from home for the last 9 or 10 months.
Correct. Yeah, I worked for Philips also as part of my career. Sir, I'm unable to share anything. Is there something that?
Yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that. I'll be just doing that. Make him as presenter. Yeah, I did that now.
I can share now.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Prasad. Mr. Manjunath, this is my PhD scholar, Prasad Babu. Now he comes with MCA and MBA background. He is in teaching for last 12 years, and joined full-time PhD here with me. And I made him as part of my course because he can learn the tricks of the game. Teaching at an institute like VIT. So he's now part of my course. Yeah, he is a silent observer basically, but I made him to understand how we need to teach at places like VIT and all. Every year our standard of the input increases, the expectations of the students increases.
Yeah. I can imagine. Hi, Prasad. Good to know you.
Hi, sir.
Maybe another 1 or 2 minutes.
I will make a message in WhatsApp group, sir, so that students can join, sir.
Yeah. Please do that, Prasad. Yeah, hi, Kritika.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We have our guest already with us, Mr. Manjunath, waiting for you guys to join.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Kritika is from civil engineering, right, Kritika?
Yes, sir. I'm from civil engineering.
Kritika will help us then. The example comes from civil engineering today. So Kritika, don't be critical on us if I'm using the wrong words or technically.
No, sir. No, sir. Sure.
Actually, I disturb everybody in my class. So I keep on asking them like, because, from the business school, so, we use a different approach of teaching, without PPT,
Yeah.
more of a discussion rather than, so, I involve all the students in the class. So they are also enjoying the process.
That I think is the right way also, sir, rather than going with the books. Books are essential, but real life example gives a lot of mileage.
Yeah, Tarun, good morning. I think slowly kids are joining.
Good morning, sir.
Hey,
Yeah,
good morning.
So we need to give a buffer time of another 2-3 minutes.
No problem at all. No problem.
I think we can start off, sir. I'll just introduce our guest. Hi, welcome to this session. Mr. Manjunath comes with 2 decades of experience in IT and manufacturing industry in different verticals. Mr. Manjunath is also a PMP. In the beginning of the course, I said like, no, this is something which is really relevant for most of you when you need to practice your profession. I shared the material regarding the PMP and the certification to the students, and also made them to understand the importance, whether it is IT or construction or in other industries. Basically, this helps them to understand about how to manage the resources more effectively and efficiently. So we have with us Mr. Manjunath, and probably I'm just leaving the floor to Manjunath to take over and do the session. And feel free, sir, even if you want to introduce once again. That will be more insightful to the students. And I expect all our students to take advantage of his presence. Mr. Manjunath, I also said like, I'm going to ask a question from your session.
Sure.
So that
please.
they can attempt you.
No problem at all.
Thank you. The floor is for you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good morning, all of you. Hi, I'm Manjunath Nagaraju, and I have about close to 20 plus years of experience in the IT. I've worked for various companies starting from NIIT, Philips, HP, Emphasis, and Intuit, now with NextGen. Currently, I'm working as a senior director as NextGen at NextGen in operational excellence. My team focuses on project and program management. We also do a lot of agile transitions. We also have tooling and support financial operations. Now, financial operations is not something which is the regular accounting. This is more related to project financing. So that's a short brief of about me. Teaching is also my passion, and I'm very honored to be here this morning with all of you. As part of today's class, this I expect it to be interactive, so please do not hesitate to stop me and ask questions. It's an overview of a tool that most of our project managers use. There are various tools in the market, and as you can appreciate, what we will be seeing here is only a part of the tool. The tool itself is quite powerful, and this is an application used worldwide. All right, and that's Microsoft Project. I'll try and share my screen over here. Please do let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
Thank you so much. So first and foremost, let's understand. So please be interactive. I'll ask a few leading questions, and I would have expect some answers. And if you don't know, no problem. We'll discuss it together. All right. So sir told me that you all have studied project management in some detail, or at least you're aware of project management. Now, for project management is industry agnostic. I can be from software industry. I can be from oil and gas, construction. I can be from mechanical, automobile, or even from the medicine. I had a bunch of doctors actually attending a session on PMP, and I asked them, "Hey, why PMP for you guys?" And they said, "Look, a lot of funds are released from WHO, and we need to basically ensure that the project is well executed." Think of a small situation like, administering pulse polio across our country. That's an extremely large project. If not done very efficiently, it'll fail. So there are a lot of people behind it who's doing it in the right way. So for a project manager, there are certain things which are very, very critical. Now, I would start to put some diagram and start explaining as to what is the most important factor for projects. A lot of people will think that, hey, I've completed the project, but no, for us, a project is complete when you actually satisfy the basic objectives. So there are three components into this. One part is the cost. One part is the time. And one part is the scope itself. All right. If you find it hard to remember the company TCS, time, cost, and scope. All right. And this is very integral for a project manager. Now I can deliver a project, but if I've delayed it heavily, the project is still considered to be a failure. All right. Now we talk about time, cost, and scope, but this is not how we can really sell our products. To sell our products, you need a very integral part of it, that is quality. So where do you think quality should be placed in this pictorial representation? Anybody? Can we place quality somewhere in this representation? So I'll place quality at the center of this pictorial representation. Does this resonate with all of you? That quality is really at the heart of everything that we do. Yeah. So all said and done, I can deliver a great project, but if it is not usable by my stakeholders, but by my customers, the project is of no use. So that's why time, cost, scope, and quality is at the center. Now remember, for a project manager, this person strives to bring in a lot of system in the midst of ambiguity. There are so many questions. Imagine one thing. You're starting a project. Your sponsor come and say like, hey, you know what? We got to construct this huge building. It's a housing complex which houses like 1,000 houses. Some of them are 3 bedrooms, some of them are 2 bedrooms, some of them are one bedroom. It has a gym, swimming pool, play area, all of it, big society. And the sponsor comes to you as a project manager and says, hey, now I've given you a description of my project. When do you think you can complete it? Hey, you just told me the project and you're asking me as to when I should be completing the project. They need all of this information because they have to go back and arrange some things for you. So the person who is actually going to sponsor, going to provide resources to you, let's call him as a sponsor. OK. Now, this is the person who's going to give you everything. Now, what they need is how quickly, when are you going to complete it? How much do we need? How much money do we need to complete it? How much of resource do we need? All right. So these are basic inputs that they will need so that they can go and arrange this for you. Remember, this is the person who goes and arranges all of these for you. So as a project manager, the critical part over here is something like this. Let's consider this as a project. OK. This is the begin. Let me put it as a start, and let me put it as the end timeline. All right. Now, my friends, when do you think is the risk highest in a project life cycle? Is it here? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Which of these numbers represent the highest risk? Feel free to unmute and let me know. It could be anything, my friends. There's absolutely no wrong answer here. It's just a guess based on what we know so far. So a lot of us feel that, hey, you know what, it's going to be risky here, here, and here. But no, the risk is predominantly here, right? We have maximum risk when we start a project, okay? And just imagine this is a place with highest risk, and I'm actually committing to plans about when I would deliver, how much I would need, and what is the resource I need. So you can imagine that a project manager has so much of ambiguity around them, but they bring in order and system to this. And that's why project management is so critical for any projects, without which you will be shelling out hundreds and thousands of dollars without getting the right output, right? And to do all of these, project managers use some tools. And that we'll call as Microsoft Project for now. This is one of the many tools in the industry, my friends. So we will see how we use this. Before I jump in there, I'll just go through these. As you know, project manager's lifecycle revolves around time, cost, scope, and quality. We just discussed this. We call this as an iron triangle. We call this as an iron triangle of project management. Everything that I do, every decisions that I make will revolve around this. You know, some people could come and say that, hey, you know what? This is a great feature. Let's release it to the market. But you as a project manager should sit back a little bit. Think, what's the impact on the time, cost, scope? Will it impact my quality? Now, this is something that you got to think through and then recommend whether to go forward or not. So we call this iron triangle. Please be aware of this. So project management life cycle today, right? We have some phases here. Let's start with initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. Now, why is this circular in place and it's not, one after the other? Now, it's not sequential, my friends. Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, closing. In the past, it potentially might have been sequential, but we don't do sequentially anything at all. It's all cyclic in nature. Each of these repeats multiple times. Now, this monitoring and control encompasses the whole cycle, all the phases. Even during initiating, I have to do monitoring and control. During planning, I do that. Executing, I do that. And there is a lot of testing and validation which happens here and at the closing level. So practically, you know, monitoring and control encapsulates the whole of this place, while we have initiating to begin the project, to approve the project. Then you come to the planning phase where you do a lot of high level plans. Then you go to execute, monitor, control, and close. Right. So remember, this is cyclic in nature. It repeats itself multiple times. Now, let's jump a little bit deep. I mean, we are not talking the principles of project management itself, because I'm sure you have another class for this. Our objective here is Microsoft Project, so I'm taking a shortcut here and jumping deeper into this. How does a project come to you? There are tons of things which actually happen before the project can actually come, and somebody can come and give you saying that, hey, this is the project, go ahead and execute. We don't realize the amount of work which happens. The amount of work which happens before a project is actually executed in your company will be at least 6 months, 7 months, 10 months, and more than 2 years sometimes, because the amount of background work that we have to do in the portfolio management is extremely high, because it's millions of dollars that we're going to invest, isn't it? So we got to be very happy that somebody else is doing all this hard work for us. Now, our job is to ensure that we take the scope and deliver the project. For a project manager, delivering it within the agreed amount of time, scope, and the cost with the right quality. That's important. So let's take the scope. All right. The scope comes very simply, like, let's say the high level scope. If you're talking to me and I'm the engineer, you'll say, hey, you know what, Manjunath, I need a duplex house. Just construct a duplex house for me in 1,200 square feet. This is your high level scope. And that's about it. Now you'll say, can you tell me how much does it cost? How much time does it take? How many people do you need, and so on. I can answer this in multiple ways based on my experience. One, I can do a relative comparison of a similar project that I've done in the past. We call it as analogous estimate. Or I can actually do a detailed planning of all of these and then give you an actual cost. At points, I'll also give something called as a rough order of magnitude where I don't know anything, right? But I have a vague idea about this project. I'll give you a rough order of magnitude, which is like extremely high, right? Minus 25 to 75% of variation it'll have. So what I do when you give me a high level scope as a project manager is very simple. You give me a high level scope and then I sit with you as a customer, right? You are the customer and you know the best. I'll sit with you and I'll say, okay, Mr. Customer, you need a duplex house. Fine. What are the major components, right? Let's presume in this example that we are looking at a kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, and a bedroom. All right. Now I'll go further down. Hey, for the kitchen, what are the key components? I need an area for cooking. I need an area for cleaning. I need an area for storage. In this example, I'll just take another component, which is living room. I'll say in the living room, what are the key components? I need an area to be seated, an area for entertainment, and then some aquarium as decorative natures of the living room. All right, so this is the split up that we will do. We call this as work breakdown structure. This is extremely critical for us to move into any project that we begin, because if I don't have this, I don't know what I'll be doing, right? So this is extremely integral. From the scope, I go to the detail level scope, and then I break this down. Now, you might have heard this, right? Some of the project managers go and commit this, and engineers really suffer because the overall scope, the overall budget, and the overall timeline defined by somebody will be totally wrong. But remember, if I can do this with the person who is actually doing this kitchen work, I work with a group of people, the masons and some of the engineers over there who can actually do the kitchen work. And I'm actually working with a team which will actually build the living room. They know best as to how much it'll take, when should it be done, how it should be done, what it'll cost. So this is a teamwork, my friends. This is not done by the project manager himself or herself. All right. So we will do this together and we will produce this work breakdown structure. Now, this is the crux of it. This is the blueprint of what my project is. It's so important that if I don't have an element in the WBS, it simply means that that is not part of my scope, because I will have gone and done the schedule. I would have gone and done the budget, and I would have frozen the scope based on what I do here. So my friends, a deep down into scope is typically bringing in all these components as part of the work breakdown structure. And work breakdown structure is not done by the project manager themselves. It is done by the team closest to the work. Closest to the work. We might not get all the team members. You might not have recruited them, but you have at least the architects and all the knowledgeable people who can help you here. All right. So once I have this, I'm ready to launch in. All right. So I'll create plans, I'll manage resources, manage tasks, track progress, and report. How do I do this? I do this using a Microsoft project. So let us now dive into Microsoft project itself, my friends. So how does a Microsoft project look like? It's just another application, right? Not to make it too complex. It's a wonderful application used by project managers worldwide, and this is called Microsoft Project. So I just open it and the first look and feel, you will say, hey, you know what? It looks like Excel. Yeah, it almost has a look and feel of Excel, but with a lot many features, which is intuitive to a project manager. I've done some basic work here to save time. I've taken the duplex house here. I've said, look, I might have to design, I might have to construct, I might have to do the kitchen. In the construction, I have the foundation, I have the kitchen, I have the living room, bathroom, and the bedroom. All right. And amongst this, I'll say, okay, for the kitchen, there is a cooking area, cleaning area, washing area. And for the living room, a seating area, entertainment, and aquarium. Perfect. Now let's define a few more tasks for the bathroom, right? Now I know we have a lot of civil engineers over here. Can you just give me two tasks? Just two tasks. Do I need heating, water heating facility, water heating arrangements? Yeah. And we need good drainage. All right, we need good drainage over here for all of the water to get out. So this is the way I simply add my tasks. I'll have a high level task called as a bathroom. This is about constructing the bathroom for me. And I'll say, hey, there are simply two components as part of my example. I need a water heating arrangement and I need drainage, as simple as this. What I'll do is, because these two are part of the high level task, I will slightly indent them. I'll slightly indent them. I just indented them. You see, by indenting, I just ensured that I put an order here and made this part of that bathroom. Now, water heating. Let's say I need about 1 day to do this. So I'll say, when can I begin this? Let's say I'll begin it today, and I'll finish it by tomorrow. So what is the duration? 2 days, right? So the drainage, I'll take about 5 days. Now I said drainage takes about 5 days, but I've not put when I'll start and when I'll begin. I'll simply say that, you know what? Drainage is something I'll do after I put the water heating system on the terrace. All right, I have the solar and stuff like that. For all the drainage to complete, let's ensure that I complete this task after everything is done. So I'll say, look, drainage and stuff like that is dependent on the basic framework of my bathroom itself. So I'll say drainage is dependent on the heating area. So yeah, I didn't insert this dates over here, did I? I didn't insert these dates. If you notice, I only put a dependency. I put a dependency here saying that this particular task, so-called as drainage, is dependent on heating systems. After I complete the heating systems, I'll be starting and completing the drainage. And I defined saying that based on my knowledge, it takes me about 5 days to complete, and it inserted the dates automatically. It inserted the dates automatically by way of actually looking into, hey, when is this task completing? So I'll begin after the task is completed. And then it says 5 days. It took 1 to 7. Hey, that's something not okay. We said 5 days, but it has taken like what, 7 days? Yeah, that's because, you know, my friends, it takes Saturdays and Sundays as non-working days. That's been defined as part of the project. You know, that's basic definition. So I'm skipping a lot of basic definitions on bringing this into shape, all right, because it's more of the tool settings itself. Now let's see what dates it is. I started this on 1st, so this is over here. And then Saturday and Sunday it skipped, correct? Saturday and Sunday, we do not take it into planning. 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's 5 days. And hence it gave me the correct date. So these are the things which it helps me to do. So now just for completion, let's say I'll complete this also. I'll do something like this. This task, when I have put here, right, it says I'll be doing it manually. Now I'll say it is auto scheduled. Auto scheduled. It is auto scheduled based on the seating area, entertainment area, and the aquarium. OK, so let's say the seating area, it takes me, I was supposed to start it last week, and I was supposed to complete it on 27th. Let's just put that. OK, it's already delayed. I have put that intentionally, and it took 3 days. And the entertainment, I'm going to start it today, and I'm going to complete it by 1st. All right. And the next one, I'm going to start next week and complete it after like a couple of days. Cool. So it took like aquarium and stuff. Sorry, I gave wrong date. So I'll just take the duration as 1 day. Yeah. So this is the time which I would take. Overall, 9 days is what I would take to complete the living room. And for each of these elements of the living room, I have a start date and I have an end date here. Right. So my friends, this is about just defining the tasks. The tasks came from your work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure came from your high level scope. So net result from the scope, you broke it down into more You decomposed, you made it into smaller chunks of work such that you can deliver it. And you organized your work in such a way that, hey, there is a design phase, there is a construction phase. In the construction phase, I got to do the kitchen, I got to do the living room, I got to do the bathroom, and then the bedroom, right? And then you also took estimates based on the experts who are working with you, because you might not be the expert in everything, right? I mean, people who do the work are the experts. So you said, hey guys, how long does it take? Overall, they gave you some time and you put that. So I'll just complete one more duration here. All right, cooking area. Let's say we start today and takes about 2 days. Now, after I finish the cooking area, I'll say I will come and do the cleaning area. So let's say I take 2 days to do the cleaning area, 3 days to do the washing area. Now, but I'm not filled in, right? So what I simply can do, I'll use the tools capabilities here. I'll use the tools capabilities here and say, sorry, I'll use the tools capability here and say, hey, you know what? Let me put this task as a dependent of the previous task. I put this 9 and I put this 10. What I simply created here is, my friends, I just made this dependent on this one and this one as dependent on this. That's it. Now, what's this funny things lines on the right of my page, right? This is called as a Gantt chart. Now, if you've observed well, there is something which the chart did for us. This is something which I did, right? For kitchen, it said, OK, kitchen begins on 29/9/2021. And here it just took 29 as the beginning date. And it said, hey, the kitchen work ends on 7/10. And this is the end date which it is given. So this is the begin and end. This is a graphical representation of exactly the information that we have provided. Remember, this is the brain of it. If you do some things wrong here, everything else will look wrong. So I said cleaning area is dependent on the cooking area and washing area is dependent on the cleaning area, which means to say that I want to go sequentially here. I don't want to go parallelly here. Yeah, so it linked these tasks. You see the little arrows over here, my friends? It linked these tasks over here in such a way that, hey, I do first task and then I do the second task and then I do the third task, which clearly means to say that you might be thinking, hey, you know what? Probably the kitchen is going to be done by one single team, or it'll be scheduled in such a way that after one team does it, the second team does it, then the third team does it, or the same team moves after one task to another. Fair enough? That's the representation over here. But observe here a little bit, my friends. All of these tasks, that is schematic design, design development, and elevation work, I said, look, I want all of this to be done on the same day, 28th. I want it to be done here. And I've done it all in parallel. So which means there is going to be overload for somebody, or I need 3 people to do this if I'm going to do it parallelly. So these are some of the understandings that we will need to have. All right. So the Gantt chart is a graphical representation of everything that we put here. So far, so good. Any questions, my friends? I'll pause here to see if you have any questions. No questions this far?
No, sir.
All good?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. We'll move then. We'll put something called as a milestone now. What's a milestone? Milestone is simply a 0 duration task in the tool. So what's a milestone? You all know what a milestone is. There's a milestone. You getting into this university, you getting into this colleges. That's a milestone. You got it. Completing it. That's a milestone. Getting your next offer, job offer. That's a milestone. You complete your 10+2. That's a milestone. Correct? Our lives can be defined with multiple milestones. So here also, let's define a milestone and see how it is represented. These are like rectangular bars, which represents the task, which gives the duration, and these lines represents the relationships. But first, let's complete a milestone. A milestone, I just mentioned that it's a zero duration task, right? So the kitchen, let's say hand over the kitchen, right? Hand over the kitchen. Now I'll say this is a zero duration task, and this can be handed over only when I complete all these three tasks, right? So I'll say this is the last task in constructing my kitchen. So I'll make this as dependent on 11. Huh? So you see this, my friend, it gives a diamond right over here. And this is how a milestone is indicated. It's a zero duration. I don't do anything about it. It's just a handover, right? It's not a scheduled task. So which means to say that when I look at it as a sponsor or even as a project manager, I know that, look, this is an important milestone for me because this is about handing over the kitchen to my clients. Why is this milestone so important, my friends? Well, milestones are extremely critical. What happens during these milestones? What I do in my project is, see, this is about the tool, about how I do things, right? We should also understand the other side of what happens with this information, right? I'm doing a project review now, and I'm looking into this milestone. Let's say I'm on October, 8th of October, right? That's the time when we have to hand over the kitchen. Now, 8th of October, this milestone is expected to be achieved. I come and request with you a review, right? Let's have a gate review. What's a gate review here? A gate here, or just a go, no go review. Let's take a go, no go review. I come to you guys and say, hey guys, is the work done? Are we tracking to progress? You might say, yes, great, done. Or you might say, look, there is a delay. Now, having a delay or completion, it's from an engineer's perspective, we'll say, hey, look, I had so many problems and hence I could not move and so on. But for a project manager and a sponsor, this means a lot. OK, see, this is about constructing the house. Imagine that instead of this house, you were actually releasing the next generation television. Imagine yourself as a consumer electronics product. You are releasing the next generation television to the market. And there are similar milestones like this. And there was a milestone which was supposed to be completed on a given date, and we are doing the review. What happens in that review? Why is that review so important? Why is this date so important? Because remember, when you're a project manager, you'll be pushing hard for everybody else to follow this timeline. And you'll say, look, we have to follow this timeline. Somebody could challenge you. Hey, Manjunath, you're pushing us too hard. What's the big deal? What's the big deal if I slip a little bit here? I'll slip a month. So what? The client will get the house a little bit 1 month later. Yeah, but then I'm just translating the same to a large consumer product, or releasing the next generation television globally. Now, my friends, if I'm releasing a television globally, I want to release it across the world. What is the best purchasing time globally, my friends? What is the best purchasing time globally? When do you think is the highest sales in the market globally? Let's say this is Jan and this is December. Any idea as to when is the maximum purchase going to happen? Is it around Thanksgiving, Christmas, Diwali, and so on? Yeah. So it's around this time. I cannot lose something like September, October to December. Like, so this is October, right? And this is December. If I don't have all my products on the shelf within this time, I have a potential to lose the market for that year. You know, I can still bring the product to the market, but I've lost the big sale. Isn't it? Big purchases happens in our Indian community during Diwali and so on. Dasara, Diwali. You can imagine the type of discounts which comes in, new product releases which happens. Even movies are accounted at that point in time because people are in a celebrating mode. They purchase, spending happens there. Now across the world, Thanksgiving is one event and Christmas is another event. So a lot of purchases happen. Now, if I am not planning in such a way that my products have to be on the shelf, I have to do the marketing, I have to do the supply chain very well in such a way that my products actually reach the warehouses, the showrooms, and hit the market, I lose my opportunity to sell.
Looks like there is some problem with Mr. Manjunath. Let him join once again, and I'll be making my presenter once again.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry. I was so involved. I didn't even realize that, I lost the session.
Yeah.
Can you please let me know where you lost me? What were we speaking when we lost? One of you, please.
We discussed about the market. About October to December, we have most sale, and why is it important to not lose the market during that time?
Okay, perfect. So we now understand that it's extremely important for us to communicate the intent and the reason for all of us to be delivering a product on time, right? When you explain to your team members as to why you are actually pushing for a particular release in a given time, they will appreciate it. Without which they'll say that, hey, you know what, you're putting unnecessary pressure on us. Yeah. Is my screen visible back, my friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So what we'll do here now is, I was actually so far we were looking into the tasks, right? The tasks and stuff like that. Remember, from the scope we went to WBS. From the WBS, we went to defining these tasks, and all of these tasks were defined with the experts, not the project manager themselves. And we put the dates. Correct. Now the dates, I think we have done something wrong. Do you guys think so? Some expert gave me, and I put this, but we don't know which resource is going to be doing this, right? If, for example, for schematic design, if I'm going to take a person who is just about 2 to 3 years of experience, or even a fresher out of college, versus a person who has been doing this for the last 25 years, my friends, there is a huge difference in how quickly somebody with 25 years will do, and how how much time a fresher will take, or a person with 2 to 3 years of experience. There's a little bit of more time that somebody might take, and some expert might take a less time, right? So remember, as a project manager, everything that you do, my friends, is going to be with the people. These are good tools, they're good technology, but for a project manager, you should be a fantastic people person, right? So now let's go ahead and define resources. So remember, the tasks are here, we are good. The high level dates are here, we're good. But this will change based on the availability of my resource. So let's add resource. How do we add resource? File, sorry. I'll go to the resource. There is a team planner to the left. I hope you're able to see that. And there is a resource sheet. Remember, this is just a tool like any other software tool. I just added 2 people, Anand. Let me say I had another person called Manjunath. All right. Now I'm not just adding people here. What I'm also doing is I'm having Anand, and I'm also setting rates for this person. They are available 100% for this particular project. Manjunath is available for 100% on this project. The standard rate, let's say Anand charges about 4,000 rupees per hour. Manjunath charges about 3,000 rupees per hour. All right, let's just leave it there. We'll not go to overtime and stuff like that. Basic standard rate. Let me have Sheetal as another person, Vinod as another person, and Gauri as another person, and Ganesh as another person. All right, so these are people who are going to work for us. Each of them, you will have to ascertain what is the amount that you have to pay for every hour that they work in your company. Let's say Sheetal comes with expertise. We'll say Sheetal charges about 6,000 rupees per hour. Vinod charges about 5,000 per hour. This is their billing rate. OK, and Gauri about 5,000 per hour, and Ganesh charges about 4,500 per hour. So now what did I just do, my friend? Slowly, I'm building your resource and also ascertaining the cost that I'm going to incur when I have this resource working for this particular project per hour. So overall, this should calculate to me as to what would be my overall project cost once I assign this resource. Now, this is a very important aspect. Defining the tasks is very elementary, basic, but for a project manager, for a sponsor, this is very important because discussions happen here. So this is a person like Sheetal, a very expensive resource. Can I replace this expensive resource with another resource if they're not doing very well? And these discussions happen. Vinod, are they producing good enough work? Are they producing more work than what Anand and Manjunath are doing? Because we are paying 5,000 to this person, where relatively we are paying 4,000 and 3,000 to Anand and Manjunath respectively. So we better have more work extracted from them, right? So these are decisions which will be happening in the back end with your management team. All right. So let's leave it here for now. I'll go to the tasks. Okay. I'll go to the tasks and say like, hey, let's assign resources. Let's assign resources here. We have the design, right? Schematic design. Whom will we assign? Let's say Sheetal is going to work on this. Okay. And then design development. Let's again put Sheetal. All right. All right. Elevation. We'll put Gauri to work on this. Cool. Now, my friends, there's something wrong, right? We need to figure out that later because there are two things which are happening. Sheetal is this schematic design is expected to take us 1 full day. We put Sheetal. Design development is going to take 1 full day. And it is expected to start on 28th and close on 28th. And we have put Sheetal again here. How is it possible? Sheetal will have to do literally double shifts, right, to complete this. That'll not work. Now, elevation, we have put Gauri, so that's okay. These two things can happen in parallel. Correct. So accordingly, let's assign resources in other places. There's Manjunath. We'll put Manjunath here. So here, cooking area also. Let's put this Manjunath to work on this, right? Let's put Manjunath to work on all these places and be done with it. All right. So for the remaining places, living room. Let's put Anand to work on this. I can put again Ganesh to work on this and Anand to work on this. Cool. So we have assigned some people to be working on the project tasks that we have. Now you see on the right side, as and when I started adding these people over here to the left, we got these people updated over here. So which means to say that one look into this graph, I know that people are assigned. People are assigned. But now I'll go and look into, hey, am I assigned it very well? Or maybe I've done a mistake. So what I'm going to do is team planner, I'll say resource usage. Okay, Sheetal seems to be in red here. Something is wrong here. It says, hey, Sheetal, you've booked 16 hours per day, where Sheetal is actually 8 hours per day, ideally. So she will, if you have to get this job done, Sheetal will have to work twice of everybody else, which is not correct. So what I'll do is I'll go to the resource graph and say, hey, what happened? Sheetal is literally booked 200%, not 100%, 200%. So that is also wrong. Then I'll go here and say, okay, let's now rectify this, right? Now let's rectify this. So I'll go to resource graph, all right, and then say resource usage and say Sheetal, we have to change this. There is something called as resource leveling. Here you see this resource leveling here, my friends. Observe here. There is something called as resource leveling. What I'm going to do is for Sheetal, I'll click on resource leveling and see what happens. It might do, might not do. For Sheetal, level now. Did you see what it did? What the tool did for me? The tool actually corrected my mistake. The tool distributed her work for 2 days. So the logic here is not about how the tool did it. The logic here is, please remember, when you do resource leveling on a given resource who is overbooked, logically, what happens to your overall project time? This was supposed to be completed on Tuesday in the past with 16 hours. Now that I did a resource leveling, it actually moved in such a way that I should be doing it in 2 days. So logically, when you do leveling, my friends, your project schedule extends. There are two options, right? When I have such mistakes, either I bring in more people, or the same resource, if the same resource is going to work, I have to extend the time. That's about scheduling and resource leveling as an example. You got it? All of you with me so far? Any doubts, my friends? This is the crux of it. Now you will see that everything else is now setting in place. I mean, these are like different views. I mean, don't worry about this. Resource graph itself is now looking good. Resource forms is looking good. Resource sheet is looking good. Resource usage is looking good. Yeah. So I think now everything is sort of set in place. Now there are various views. Let's not go into that right away. But I hope you got the context of this, my friends. Any questions? Any questions, my friends? All fine this far? Hello? Anybody there?
Yes, sir, you can get it, sir.
No
You can
doubt,
get it.
sir.
All right. So, you know, apart from everything else, if you don't like to do this manually, there are ways in which I can actually move the work like this. You can assign this to Vinod. I see Vinod is free. Cooking area. I can give this to somebody else. To Vinod. Vinod is again free, and so on and so forth. Fair enough. Yeah, this is how I do. Now I'll go back to my tasks and the Gantt chart. So what have I done so far, my friends? I've created the WBS, brought all the tasks, I've assigned the resources. All right. Now I've leveled the resources also. Now my project seems to be perfect. Yeah, I have the right resources. They are not overloaded. The work is spread evenly. I just need to ensure that things are going well here. Correct. So now we will do something to track now. That's about your planning. You've done all of it. Now job begins. So you will have your daily stand-ups and you to monitor how things are going at everyday review meeting, project review meetings and stuff like that, right? So I typically come to our engineers and say, hey guys, this work was supposed to happen today. Do you think you have done this work? Somebody will say, yeah, I've done it versus no, I've not done it. Sheetal, you were supposed to complete this task yesterday, but you say you have done it only 75%. You see this? It's 75%. This we do it manually. Now, Gauri, you were supposed to complete some tasks on 28th. Have you done it? Maybe she'll say, yeah, that's complete. We will do the review and say, I as a project manager will say, okay, I've reviewed this and Gauri has completed it 100%. Okay. So this is how I'll start tracking. This is how I'll start tracking. Now, entertainment. This was supposed to start on 28th, right? This one. Now, have I started it? Have I not started it? You must have started it because the overall duration is 3 days. So which means to say that at least 30% of the work should be done by now, right, my friends? So I'll ask Vinod, hey, can we see how much of work is complete? I'll inspect the work. I'll not ask just Vinod and do the update. We'll never do that as project managers. We'll inspect the work to say, Vinod, have you done it? Yeah, fair enough. Can I inspect it? I'll view, I'll test it, and then say, okay, now it's done. So let's make it as 30% complete. This is tracking. So as and when I'm doing this particular thing, you see that this line actually, if you observe very well, there is a thin line which is getting inserted. Just observe this line again. Vinod, for Vinod, just observe this. I will do something. I'll make this particular thing as 100%. Right? 100%. So this, and then I'll make this as 100%. You are ahead of schedule. So this line completes it. For me, when I look into this graph, okay, this is complete. This is complete. There are a lot of things which are pending. Correct. Now I can't go about, in a project, this is not how these are, you will have like thousands of tasks, my friends. You will have like hundreds of resources. You will have thousands of tasks. I can't do this manually, isn't it? So what I do is to actually go and do this reporting. Let's see the reporting part of it. I know we are running short of time when we are closing down with the last module. That is the reporting. So my friends, we looked into Project Office, Microsoft project, by looking into what's the project, the iron triangle, looked into WBS, looked into the high level scope, we brought the tasks, we brought the resources, we aligned the resources to the tasks, we actually put the start and finish dates, and now we are also tracking the project in terms of doing the reviews and stuff like that. Now let's look into basic reports. Some of the dashboards. Project overview. How much is my project complete as of today? The project says, hey, you what? You're 23% complete. Your milestone, there's a next milestone coming in, and that is handing over of the kitchen. That should be complete on 8/10, next month, 8th, right? 8th of October, you will be having this particular kitchen handed over to you. That's a milestone due. And I, as a sponsor, want to know that, look, I have already spent 25 to 30% of my budget. Are you actually completing at the same rate? You'll say, yeah, I have completed 23% of the project. It's a good view of it. And it says, okay, the duplex house, you have so much more to complete. What did I just communicate when I said I'm 23% complete? I'm just communicating to you saying that, sir, 23% is complete and so much is yet to be completed. Yeah. And it'll say tasks that are past due. Now, late tasks, it is giving me something on the late task where I'll be having a discussion with these people to see if they are having trouble. I'll go to Sheetal, Manjunath, and Anand. Hey guys, you were supposed to finish by 28th and 27th respectively, but you're late. What happened? Can I help you? Are you stuck? Are there any impediments? This is the type of conversation which we'll have with them. Maybe they are stuck. There is an impediment. By the way, I'll not do a post-mortem. This should be discussed every day with these team members, because if you don't track your project every day, you will be surprised by the amount of slippage it can cause into the overall schedule. So this discussion I'll be having literally every day during my stand-up discussions. I'll have daily meetings, as simple as that. I'll ask, okay, Manjunath, what's your problem? Why did you take one day extra? So Manjunath will say, hey, you know what? The necessary material didn't arrive. Can you help me arrange that material and I'll quickly finish this job because something is stuck. So I, as a sponsor, will go, or a project manager will go and help Manjunath by supplying the material and delivering it. Anand, what happened? Seating area. He'll say, hey, look, seating area I'm not able to complete because Sheetal has not given me the relevant designs. So I'll work with Sheetal and ensure that this comes in quickly, and then Anand in such a way that Anand can complete it. So this is how your discussions happen, my friend. And in a real life, nothing is done in isolation. It's a teamwork, strong teamwork, right? So that is the advantage of these reports. Now there are various reports, my friends. You can see simply cost overview. Hey, what is the overall budget? Did we understand what's the overall budget? The budget is about 6 lakhs. How did this get computed, my friends? It got computed because remember you gave the per resource cost. While defining the resource, you said Manjunath charges 4,000, Anand charges 3,000, ABC and so on, right? So this is computing the cost from the resource cost that you actually gave it. Now we spoke only about one part of the resource, my friends. In reality, we will have many things. There will be travel costs, there will be other expenditures, there will be material costs. We'll actually add all of that into this tool so that we can get the real cost of the project. So in one shot, you could see that, hey, you know what? I've completed 23% of the project. And am I burning too much of money or am I burning it at a normal rate? And this will talk in terms of variance, cost variance, schedule variance, and so on. That's a deeper discussion which you guys will do as part of earned value management in the subject of project management as you move further. But just for your understanding, there is somebody who's looking into the variance. There's somebody who's going to monitor, are you spending just enough as budgeted and so on. Right. Similarly, and there are like many reports that you can just go through this. I mean, reports has like, upcoming tasks. What are the next upcoming tasks? So it says schematic design should be complete. Design development should be complete. Foundation, cleaning area, weather, water heating. So these are my tasks, which I'll have an eye saying that, hey guys, these have to be finished and started. So are we scheduled for it? Do you have all the material? Do you have all the basic essential needs that you start? So these are the discussions which will go on. Comfortable so far, my friends? So I would just like to, wrap up everything saying that With this simple tool, this is everything for me. This is my eyes and ears for me to plan, for me to track, for me to report, for me to see what variance is coming in, for me to see what risks are creeping in, and so on, because risks are all around the place, right? So that is where I'll conclude for today's session, considering that we are just about time to say you just got a glimpse, a little glimpse of overall Microsoft project. And this is just the beginning, my friends. You can do various things, starting from um, introducing and integrating this with the type of SDLC, software development lifecycle, or the development lifecycle, or the product development lifecycle you have in your organization. You can merge it with agile practices, multiple things, and even the reports, and even the way tasks are seen here, right? I mean, you can do so many things. So as simple as I want to have a quick view about how many tasks are late. I'll just go and do this. It's such powerful tool. This is. It'll give me all the tasks which are late, tasks which are potentially not marked as 100. So I'll just, instead of 100, maybe this was just an update from me which was missing. I'll do this and it should go away in the next update. Yeah, got it? Hope this helped my friends to get an overview of what and how powerful Microsoft project is for all of us.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
With that, I think I'll close my session for today, and I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have, my friends. Any questions?
Any questions from the class? Kritika, would you like to take some questions? Would you want to ask some questions? How do you use in your industry? Primarily, Manjunath has continued with the same example that we are discussing about a construction project. Would you like to get some more inputs from him, or are you okay with this?
What we could
No,
also
sir.
do, yeah, go ahead, please. Sorry to interrupt.
No, sir. I just think no, it was fine, and I got the inside of it.
Thank you. But if you guys have any further questions, my friends, do not hesitate. I'll be happy to answer your questions. You can route it through Professor, and I'll be happy to answer and work with any situations that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Manjunath, for your time. And please understand that Manjunath sir was available at 7:50, and he messaged me. And by the time I was also ready, but I'm right now located not in the campus, away from the campus. So little difficult situation. So, but still, he is available. So, I started the system and kept it ready for him. And thank you, Manjunath, for your gracious presence and helping our students to understand an overview of MS projects. It was very, very lively, and hope all our students benefited out of this. And we would like to have your interaction in the future also. And whenever we get an opportunity, definitely we'll seek your support. And hope you are going to enlighten our students again.
I'll be
Thank
happy,
you
sir.
once again thank you once again from VIT. Welcome to part of our VIT family.
Thank you so much, and the pleasure is all mine. I enjoyed this session too. Thank you all. Thanks for patiently listening to me. Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
great day
We are
ahead.
wrapping up the session. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Manjunath. We'll keep in touch.
Sure, please. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Manjunath sir, for a wonderful session and informative session for the students.